No.
So one, we'll start the meeting. Public hearing number one, proposed 2024 city budget is filed by the common council. Is anybody here to speak to that? And the public hearing number one, proposed 2024 city budget is filed by the common council. Anybody speak to that? Last call, public hearing number one, proposed 2024 city budget is filed by the common council. And with that, we'll close the public hearing. Call the order, please. Roll call.
Councilmember Scott,
Present.
Councilmember Sullivan,
Here.
Councilmember Pinello,
Here.
Councilmember Lane,
Here.
Councilmember Thompson,
Here.
Councilmember Carpenter,
Here.
Councilmember Beckwith,
Present.
Councilmember Michaels.
Here.
Then all rise to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which is the republic of which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If we could have a moment of silence and reflection for the two firefighting families that are struggling through this week. Thank you. Privilege of the floor. We have a couple privilege of the floor people here. I think we have Kelly.
Good evening. Very nice to be here. And my name is Kelly Boutois. I'm a volunteer with New York Citizens Audit. I'm not an official spokesperson. Our purpose in being here this evening is to share information with you from some published reports that we have put together. These were derived from thousands of hours of research contributed by hundreds of citizen volunteers. After reviewing these reports, if you have questions, we will have our volunteer executive team get back with you. So who is New York Citizens Audit? It's an all-volunteer organization. Our volunteers hail from all corners of New York, from Buffalo to Montauk. We are goat herders, farmers, artists, programmers, PhD, homeschool moms, accountants, truckers, data researchers, nurses, and lawyers. We represent a mix of Democrats, Republicans, and independent, and we are calling for accurate and verifiable elections. So why did I decide to volunteer with New York Citizens Audit? I became concerned about the irregularities that I've seen in our elections over the last several years. Once I found New York Citizens Audit and reviewed their extensive research, I decided that this was a worthwhile effort to become involved with. So New York Citizens Audit's focus is after the 2020 election, they obtained the voter roll databases from state and local boards of elections here in New York through the Freedom of Information Law. When New York Citizens Audit compared the New York State voter database, the county listings, and the official vote totals on the Secretary of State's website, their analysis revealed that these three bodies of data did not match. And the data revealed millions of potential violations of state and federal law. We believe these disparities warrant a comprehensive audit of New York state election systems. So let me make this personal. So when your bank gives you a figure for your checking account, but the figures that you have in your own checking ledger don't match. You are going to look through each of those transactions and try to figure out what's happened until you come up with a result, and you'll discuss it with your bank. So you'll work this out with your bank and try to figure out where the discrepancies are. That's essentially what we're asking for you guys to do tonight, is to consider going through and applying the same level of scrutiny to our election results. We have provided you with our published reports. The first one is New York's 2020 general election, a study in deficits, and New York's 2022 general election, the reign of error. We've also provided you with a resolution for an audit of the 2022 general election. We hope that once you've had an opportunity to review these reports, that you'll join us in recognizing the need for a thorough and extensive audit. Thank you all.
Thank you. I assume your contact information is on there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. We set the timer for the next one. Linda, where'd you next?
Hey, good evening. First of all, my name is Linda Burkhardt. I live in Lisle, New York, which is in northern Rome. And Lisle, the little town of Lisle, is where the first woman in New York State got to vote. So we're kind of famous. I'm also a very proud graduate of SUNY Cortland. Spent a lot of time here even after graduation. So anyway, I'm also a volunteer for New York Citizens Audit. And I'm not an official spokesperson. So what I'm sharing with you is data that they have collected and my personal interpretation of that data and of what needs to be done. So I want to look at the process a little bit. When we're talking about elections, particularly in New York State, the way the voter registration is supposed to work is the county boards of election all register the people that reside within their counties. That is supposed to be digitally sent up to the New York State Board of Elections. So if you took the 62 counties, the aggregate of it, it would match the New York State voter database. And through foiling 5 times the New York State voter database, we have found registrations that we feel do not comply with New York State election law. And that there should be explanations for things that we feel violate the law, like missing addresses, people who are over 115 years old, people who voted before they registered, etc. It's all in, I don't want to go on ad nauseam, but it's in the report. So there's something wrong. There's a disconnect somehow. We don't know how, don't know why, don't know who did it. But there's a disconnect because there's 5.1 million of those registrations that need to be explained, or we feel that they need to be explained because we feel that they violate the registration rules and law as provided by both federal law and state law. The result that we feel is if there are these excess registrations, and I'm just focusing on that one thing, and again, this is within the New York State voter database. We're not talking about the counties. This is a state issue because that's where they reside. It's in the state voter database. We feel that if they are there and are available to be used, is it possible our votes are being diluted? I mean, if people feel that their votes are being diluted, it's almost like not voting at all. We feel that because our lead researcher has submitted and been peer reviewed and published in his work, that our work is very credible. All of this information has been sent to New York State Board of Elections, Secretary of State, Attorney General's Office, New York State Police. And in 18 months, none of our findings after examining the FOIL database have been refuted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Sally Dorak. I live in Binghamton, New York. I'm also a volunteer with New York Citizens Audit. I'm going to go over some of the findings. I know you all have the papers in front of you, but we have a large audience here and they don't have the papers. So I'm just gonna go over a few things. I'm going to start with the 2020 findings. First of all, in order for an election to be valid, it has to be accurate. One person, one vote. Votes counted must be from eligible voters. The number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted. And the maximum allowable system error rate for a valid election is 1 in 125,000 ballots in error. In 2020, foiling the New York State database and our researchers digging into it, just reading their data, not adding to it or taking away from it. There were 2,427,827 New York State voter ID numbers that were attached to 1,170,790 registrants. There were 987,490 voters registered on January 1st from 1900 to 2021. 1.9 million registrations in the state voter rolls missing from the county rolls. 625,359 more registrations than voting age citizens in just 6 counties. 740,396 apparently ineligible voters statewide. And 338,000 more votes counted than voters who voted in 2020. Our conclusions are that over 1 million apparent felony violations of the New York State data law, New York State election law. Election laws are, they call it black letter laws. You're either in violation or you're in compliance. And these are 1 million violations. And the problem is if someone has more than one state board of election number and some nefarious organization or those extra ballots are used and you go to vote, you're the one committing the felony. I'm the one committing a felony because somebody used another state board of election number that I didn't know existed, but they're out there and we've identified them. So what we're asking in the resolution, we're asking for an end-to-end audit of the New York State database from an outside bonded insured company. And we had 60 of the resolutions signed in cities and towns across the greater state of New York. And we're hoping that you would also agree to sign a resolution.
Thank you.
I'm gonna wrap up. Everybody loves that. So what does this really mean to you guys? You are the city of Cortland. I will let you know that we are actually, our team is based in here on the southern tier as well as central New York. And we've had incredible response throughout our region. As Sally mentioned, we have about 69 towns signed in 20 counties. And here in the southern tier and central New York, we have incredible support. Not just at the town level, at the city level, and as well as at the legislature level. We are speaking to the legislatures and there is a lot of interest. We've also been speaking with the boards of election because frankly, like Linda and I work on election day, we know for sure that the local boards of election are doing their very best and that the issues that we're seeing in the data are coming from the state level. So we're trying to help people, you know, with our data and analytics, take a look at and understand where the disconnect is. The data is actually all from the state. What we provide is the analytics, period. So what we're asking for is for you to consider supporting the resolution, which has been presented to you. It's been customized for you. We are very familiar with what's happening in other cities. 2 weeks ago, Linda and I were in the city of Binghamton when they were doing a hand count because some of the seats that are similar to yours were won or lost by one vote. There was one that was tied. There was one that was off by 6 votes. And frankly, it comes down, it's very unnerving for everybody in the process, not only the people, the candidates, but and the people that are processing and doing the voting, actually the elections, but also for the population at large. And what's happening on the state level is very concerning because we have areas downstate and in our more densely populated areas, which have some unusual characteristics. Westchester County is voting at 140%. Nassau is at 155%. And when you have things like that happening in those densely populated areas, it actually does dilute our votes here, and it becomes a civil rights issue because basically it's almost as if we're not voting. So in that vein, we're asking you to consider our resolution. I will tell you so far there are 5 towns in Cortland which have signed, and they're very proud to do so because they want their votes to count. And I'm sure you want the people of Cortland to feel the same way. I know that this is, privilege of the floor, but if anybody has any questions, we'd be very happy to take them. We do have a wonderful website. It's called auditny.com. It's printed on the material. There's a lot of interesting information. I want to thank you very much for letting us speak to you tonight. We want to thank you very much for your service and also for the service of our professionals, for our fire and our police. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, proclamation number 1 in recognition of Vince Manilo's years of service to the fire department. Steve Friedman, come up, please.
Mayor, I'd like to call on Vince's wife Jean and son Chris. On behalf of the City of Portland Fire Commission, officers and members of the fire department, I would like to thank you for letting Vince be a part of our department. His commitment to duty never wavered. I'd also like to recognize you and your family for sacrificing the time with Vince so he could serve his community. Thank you, and may God bless you during this time. Mayor?
I'll read this proclamation and I'll bring it up for you to receive. Whereas the city of Portland is a vibrant, safe community that encourages its citizenry to engage in service to their neighbors and to the community. Whereas the Cortland Fire Department was founded in 1853 by volunteers to protect the lives and properties of their fellow residents of the city. And whereas an essential contingent of volunteers continue to serve to this day. Whereas firefighter Vincent Manila has proudly served the city and fire department for 53 years in capacities including firefighter, fire investigator, and was instrumental in consolidation and merger of individual volunteer fire companies into a unified company serving the department and the community. Whereas firefighter Manila has the knowledge and administrative skills to assist in organization and management of the volunteer contingent. Whereas firefighter Manila has also served community on boards as commissions, including the City of Cortland Cable TV Commission, Salvation Army Advisory Board, Board of Assessment Review, and the Fire Commission. Whereas Mr. Manilo's unwavering commitment and dedication does not go unnoticed and should be exemplified to others to follow. Now, therefore it be resolved, I, Scott Steves, Mayor of the City of Cortland, on behalf of the Common Council and the citizens of New York, thank Vince Manila for his many years of service to the City of Cortland and to our Cortland Fire Department.
Thank you very much. I'm just so very sad that he wasn't able to be here to accept it, but he really loved being part of the fire service.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we have some other, important recognitions to make as well. Please, Chief Sandy.
Good evening. We have some guests here tonight from the Cortlandville Fire Department. So I'll ask Chief Whitney and his command officers to come up and present this first letter, which is coming from them and not the police department. And then we have Officer Lawrence, step up here, please. We can read whatever you want.
My name's Kevin Whitney. I'm the fire district chairman. Actually, Jared Henry's the fire chief and Josh Almond is the assistant chief. These individuals were the ones involved with a life-saving event that Officer Lawrence was part of. So they'll present what happened and the result.
How you doing? Last Thursday night, an ambulance was called for a medical emergency in the town of Cortlandville. Approximately 3 minutes into the emergency, Officer Kim Lawrence was in the area looking to pick up a child for the Shop with a Cop event because the child never arrived at the location of the event. Upon contacting a family member of the child, she was told there was a medical emergency at the home and help was needed immediately. Upon making entry into the residence, Officer Lawrence determined the patient needed CPR and called out CPR in progress on the radio. At this point, the Cortlandville Fire Department was activated. Once Cortlandville arrived on scene, Officer Lawrence continued to assist Cortlandville Fire for the duration of the incident with patient care. When the patient was transported from the scene, Officer Lawrence gave the family a ride to the hospital. The patient had regained a pulse and was breathing on their own when they arrived at the hospital. Had Officer Lawrence not acted, the patient could have possibly been down unassisted for at least 10 minutes based on the times of this call. The officers and fire commissioners of the Cortlandville Fire District would like to commend Officer Lawrence on her life-saving actions.
Okay, we have a few of these to go through. Can I have Alexander Perkins step up, please, Officer Perkins? I would like to take the opportunity to commend you for your efforts throughout this year in regards to your diligence and enforcement of the parking regulations. As of last week, you issued a total of 578 parking tickets this year. That alone has a potential to generate $20,000 in revenue for the city of Cortland. Additionally, your active enforcement of the boot list, which is a list comprised of vehicles that have unpaid parking tickets, has generated approximately $13,000 in revenue for vehicles that were on said list. Your extra efforts, motivated attitude, and determination should be recognized to show your dedication to this community and to the laws that you have sworn to enforce. The aspect of police work is just a small sample of professional interest, dedication, and determination you portray in your day-to-day actions. It is actions like yours that uphold the good reputation of the Cortland Police Department. Your professionalism and dedication to the public do not go unnoticed by this department's administration nor the citizens you serve. Once again, congratulations on a job well done. This division letter of commendation will become a permanent record of your personnel file and will be shared with the police commission, mayor, and common council. Additionally, you are invited to the common council meeting today. For signed, Lieutenant Q. Sergeant Sean Burns can be here tonight. I'll just read his letter and we'll get it to him later. This is another division letter from Lieutenant Q. I'd like to take this opportunity to commend you for your efforts in regards to a bank robbery investigation that took place on June 23rd, 2023 at the Tompkins Trust Bank at 36 Main Street. All officers working flooded the scene and surrounded the area. Several members of this agency assisted in the investigation. However, you stood out for your extra efforts in solving this case. You remained at the PD rather than flood the scene. This difficult decision gave the initial information on the suspect vehicle and direction of travel. Your diligent efforts and thorough investigative techniques eventually led to the full confession of the suspect later the same night. Additionally, a second arrest of the accomplice driver was also made, as well as the recovery of most of the money that was taken from the bank. You would continue to investigate for days to ensure a successful prosecution. It is cases such as this where true investigation is that which follows the arrest. You are known for your thorough investigations and completeness in following up all leads. In a case such as this, you were able to continue to follow up investigation to provide both the suspect and accomplice would be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt if a trial takes place. Well done. Your efforts demonstrated teamwork and dedication were recognized by Lieutenant Q. This investigation is just a small sample of the professional interest, dedication, and determination you portrayed in your day-to-day actions. It is actions like yours that uphold the good reputation of the Cortland Police Department. Your professionalism and dedication to the public do not go unnoticed by the department's administration nor the citizens. Once again, congratulations on a job well done. Kyle Green. I'd like to take this opportunity to commend you on a job well done in regards to handling overall supervision and quick response to a potential riot situation that took place on December 10th, 2023. At approximately 02:26 hours, officers were sent to Clayton Ave for a noise complaint. Upon arrival, it was evident that this was not a routine noise complaint, as there were approximately 350 to 400 people in front of the yards and roadway in active celebration. On this date, SUNY Cortland football team won their first ever quarterfinal game they had played in, and were now in the Division III National Championship game. College students were not just celebrating the win, but were there also becoming increasingly unruly, threatening police, chanting, and taking over the street. You were the sole supervisor working and quickly requested support from other surrounding agencies. Recognizing the potential seriousness of the situation, as well as the crowd failing to adhere to all commands by police, you quickly made the decision to use the pepper ball launcher to maintain order and disperse the crowd. His implementation was clearly the best choice and was quickly effective in clearing the area. No one was injured during this incident, and credit is given to you for ensuring this outcome. Your extra efforts, motivated attitude, and determination should be recognized to show that your dedication to this community and to protection of the public you serve. Your efforts and quick action were recognized by your division commander. This investigation is just a small sample of the professional interest, dedication, and determination you portray in your day-to-day actions. I rest easy at night knowing you're on duty and supervising our officers to ensure proper handling of these incidents. It is actions like yours that uphold the good reputation of the police department. Your professionalism, dedication, and to the public do not go unnoticed by this department's administration nor the citizens. Once again, congratulations on a job well done. Of course, by the end of this. Sergeant Brendan Burns, is he here? This is another division letter from Lieutenant Q. I would like to take this opportunity to commend you on your efforts in regards to your overall supervision, knowledge, and experience related to an incident that took place at 52 Elm Street in Palm Gardens on November 11, 2023. Officers were sent to the Palm Gardens for a large fight involving approximately 50 people. It was reported that one individual had been stabbed and one individual was brandishing a firearm. All available officers responded, including CPD, New York State Police, Cortland County Sheriff's Office, and Homer PD. It was Cortical weekend, and therefore we had additional staffing present. All officers that responded each had a major role in the successful outcome of this incident. In particular, the uniformed sergeants, including yourself, all responded, took control of the scene, directed all officers where to go and what to do. It was very evident that the uniformed sergeants had handled on the situation as it unfolded and evolved. You in particular should be recognized for your overall supervision of the incident, gathering of information, collection of necessary evidence and photographs, and securing the scene for protection and integrity of the investigation. The 3 uniformed sergeants handled this situation by the book, and their experience and knowledge and supervision and direction of patrols to complete the needed task was displayed with successful outcome of this incident. Your efforts demonstrated teamwork and dedication were recognized by your division commander. This investigation is just a sample of your professional interest, dedication, and determination you portray in the day-to-day actions. I rest easy at night knowing you are on duty supervising our officers to ensure the proper handling of incidents. It's actions like yours that uphold the good reputation of the Cortland Police Department, and your professionalism and dedication do not go unnoticed by the department administration nor the citizens that you serve. Congratulations. Marcus Benjamin and Sergeant Taylor, please. These are life-saving awards presented by the department. I would like to take the opportunity to commend you for your efforts in regards to the overall supervision, knowledge, and experience related to an incident at 52 Elm Street, the Palm Gardens, on November 11th, 2023. Officers were sent to the Palm Gardens for a large fight involving approximately 50 people. It reported that 1 individual had been stabbed and 1 individual was brandishing a firearm. All available officers responded, including members of CPD, New York State Police, Portland County Sheriff's, and Homer PD. It was Cortical weekend, therefore we had additional staffing available. All officers responded, each had a control of the scene, directed all officers where to go and what to do. It was very evident that the uniformed sergeants had a handle on the situation as it unfolded and evolved. You in particular should be recognized, Sergeant Taylor, for your actions in tending to the victim and directing another officer to get to the victim to Guthrie Portland Medical Center as TLC could not enter an unsafe scene. It was evident that the first aid both you and Officer Benjamin provided to the victim may have saved the life, as he had substantial amount of blood loss. You also gathered information related to the incident as to what took place prior to police arrival. 3 uniformed sergeants handled this situation by the book, and their experience and knowledge in supervision and direction of patrols to complete needed tasks was displayed with successful outcome of this incident. Your efforts demonstrated teamwork and dedication were recognized by your division commander. This investigation is just a small sample of your professional interest, dedication, and determination where you portray in your day-to-day actions. I rest easy knowing that you are on duty supervising our officers and ensuring the handling of these incidents. It is actions like you that uphold the good reputation of the police department. Your professionalism and dedication to the public do not go unnoticed. To sum this up a little more, Officer Benjamin's letter is very similar, but they took an individual who had been stabbed and was bleeding severely and applied first aid and put him into a vehicle and got him to the hospital. And by all reports, probably saved his life because he could have bled out had they not taken these actions. So a job well done by their partner. Along with their letter, they will also get a pin, a life-saving pin to wear on their uniform. They have Sergeant O'Donnell and Sergeant Nicole up here. These are commendations from the chief of police, and along with the letter of commendation, they will get a department bar in order to place it on their uniform as well. And I'm gonna read one letter because they're carbon addicts. On November 30th, 2023, at approximately 15:21 hours, a call alleging a male individual was holding two females against their will in a residence, including his daughter, for whom there is a full stay away of order of protection. The subject, who had recently been paroled, was well known to law enforcement as being violent and one who would physically resist arrest. It was reported the individual was in possession of a large knife and possibly a firearm. It took several hours for the two women to be released from the apartment. It then took substantial amount of time and negotiation to get the individual to leave the apartment in a taxi. Officers who had been securing the perimeter executed a controlled felony stop on the taxi in an attempt to take the individual into custody. Upon stopping the taxi, the driver exited the vehicle. However, the individual produced a large knife and held it to his throat, threatening suicide. You initiated negotiations with the individual, and the two of you rotated in the negotiation process as necessary. It took nearly 2 hours of negotiations for the two of you to convince the individual to surrender his weapon and exit the vehicle peacefully. Throughout the length of this standoff, which lasted well into the night, the two of you utilized the skills acquired over your years of service and were able to bring the situation to a successful and peaceful conclusion at 2 a.m. I want to present you with this letter of commendation and a Department Commendation Award, which can be worn on your uniform, signifying your outstanding police work and service to the Cortland community. Copies of this letter will be shared with the Police Commission and placed in the personnel file. As Chief of Police and on behalf of the command personnel, as well as each and every officer of the Cortland City Police Department, I want to congratulate you on earning this most prestigious recognition. You make the Cortland a great place to live and raise a family, knowing that they are protected by such dedicated officers as yourself. I call Sergeant Greenback. The commendation from the Chief of Police. On November 11th, at approximately 2200 hours, officers responded to 52 Elm Street, where it was reported approximately 50 persons were involved in the fight. It was also reported that at least one individual had been stabbed and another individual was brandishing a firearm. Upon arrival, it was confirmed there was an out-of-control mob of individuals actively engaged in fighting. All available officers from the Cortland City Police, Cortland County Sheriff's, Village of Homer, and New York State Police responded to quell this disturbance. As this incident unfolded and spiraled out off in various directions, you alerted officers to suspects fleeing from behind the building, getting officers into position to apprehend these individuals. You also engaged 3 vehicles containing suspects and prevented them from leaving the area. Then you single-handedly pursued and detained the primary suspect who had attempted to flee on foot. This individual was approximately 6 feet tall and weighs nearly 300 pounds and has ties to an outlaw motorcycle gang. A handgun was recovered from one of the vehicles you had prevented from leaving. Your heroic actions in this matter directly led to the apprehension of several involved persons, including the individual responsible for stabbing another participant, as well as the recovery of the handgun, which is believed to have been displayed. You took these actions when the event was rapidly unfolding and there was no information on where the knife or handgun were located, placing yourself in harm's way to get the matter under control and apprehend suspects. Your actions took dangerous individuals off the streets of Cortland and prevented anyone else from being injured, including your fellow officers. I want to present you with this commendation of honorable service, which can be worn upon your uniform, signifying your outstanding police work and service to the Cortland community. Copies of this letter will be shared with the Police Commission and placed in your file. As Chief of Police and on behalf of the command personnel and each and every officer of the Cortland City Police Department, I want to congratulate you on earning this most prestigious award. You make Cortland a great place to live, to raise a family, knowing that they are protected by such dedicated professionals. Now I will explain, there is a committee, these letters, these awards come in from command officers of different ranks, and sometimes even a patrol could submit a letter, and then we meet as a committee and to go over them and decide what award they will actually get. In this instance, I did not participate in the selection of the award, for obvious reasons. Sergeant Sandy, Sheriff Holmes. Yeah, maybe you could read that. On October 12th, 2023, at approximately 2000 hours, officers of the Cortland City Police Department were dispatched to 134 Homer Ave, Cortland Guthrie Medical Center, for an ED who had absconded from the hospital. The subject, a young female, was reported to be in a hospital gown and holding a knife to her throat, threatening to harm herself. Hospital staff had followed the young subject on West Main Street to maintain a location for officers. Yourself and CPO Dalton Strickland were the first officers on the scene, followed soon thereafter by officers of their stations. It was reported that upon arrival of our officers, it was evident you had a clear grasp of the situation and had taken lead to establish verbal communication with this young female in an attempt to de-escalate her heightened state of mind. Officers report the distress of the young subject was very apparent from the look in her eyes and her facial expressions. Officers feared the young subject would soon end her communication and the situation would take a turn for the worse. However, you remained calm and controlled, keeping communication flowing. Your skillful dialogue and calm demeanor demonstrated your genuine compassion and sincerity to this young subject and all who witnessed your actions. Any hasty actions on the part of the officer to end the situation could have easily led this young woman to gravely harm herself or others. Ultimately, your skillful tactics paid off, and you were able to convince the young woman to slowly walk back towards the hospital. It was during this walk you had calmed the subject enough to a point where she lowered the knife to her side. You saw an opportunity and seized the moment, quickly closing the distance between you and this young woman, taking control of her hand that held the knife. This allowed other officers to approach and assist with taking the subject to the ground while you were able to take control of the knife. The subject was taken into custody without injury to anyone, especially this distraught young woman. Your selfless actions at this moment placed your own safety at risk. In an effort to protect fellow officers and this young woman. It was described by one of the command officers as an act of true bravery and valor. Our command officer finished his nomination with this. Thanks to Sergeant Sandy's bravery, quick decision-making, and inspiring professionalism, nobody was hurt, and this young subject was turned over to the hospital to continue receiving the help she so desperately needed. Our award committee met and reviewed this nomination without any input from me. It is now my honor to present you with this letter of commendation and award of valor, signifying outstanding police work and service to the Cortland community. Although you are not a member of this agency, it is important we recognize any law enforcement officer who demonstrates such remarkable skill. As chief of police and on behalf of the police command personnel and well of each and every officer of the Cortland City Police Department, I want to congratulate you on earning this most prestigious of recognition. You and officers like you ensure that Cortland County is a great place to live and raise a family, knowing that they are protected by such dedicated officers. And hopefully, the sheriff will let you wear the pin. That's so. Yeah. All right, Officer Ben Locke is here. It's the last one. On August 15th, at approximately 6:56 hours, officers were dispatched to report of a male walking on Huntington with a shotgun. The male subject, a convicted felon who was highly intoxicated, suicidal, and in a diminished mental state, was making statements to bystanders that he was going to lose his shit. You were the first to arrive upon the scene and quickly identified the subject as one whom you had had multiple dealings with throughout your career. You quickly engaged the subject, giving verbal commands, but the male ignored your commands. The subject continued carrying the shotgun and being followed by officers, all while telling officers to just shoot me. You continued to negotiate with this subject for the length of the street, with officers that are ready positioned to engage if necessary. Your continued efforts to de-escalate the situation, rationalizing with the subject, ultimately succeeded, and the subject placed a shotgun on the ground. Officers were then able to take him into custody without injury to anyone. Your dedication to the profession, your fellow officers, and the citizens of this community is evident in your action in this incident. You took command of a dangerous situation, utilized all your skills needed and honed over the years of service and training, and brought this potentially deadly situation to a peaceful resolution. Your actions should serve as an example to the fine young officers following in your footsteps, who had the honor of witnessing this situation unfold. I want to present you with this letter of commendation and a Department Commendation Award bar, which can be worn on your uniform, signifying your outstanding police work and service to the Cortland community. Copies of this letter will be shared with the Police Commission and placed in your personnel file. As Chief of Police and on behalf of the command personnel, as well as each and every officer of the Cortland City Police Department, I want to congratulate you on earning this most prestigious recognition. You made Cortland a great place to raise a family, knowing they are protected by such professionals as yourself.
Thank you, Chief. We can, if you want to go, we can clear the room if you want to, but I appreciate everybody, and it's great that out of all these bad things, some good things happen, so we appreciate everybody's dedication to that, and we appreciate our first responders and everybody. Thank you. Okay, I'll start with the mayor's report while the exit. At the top, after those stories, but I do have one. And I don't know if you heard, but Cortland State won a big football game. That was good stuff. Thank you. But a lot went to that to try to get some things happen last minute. I just want to take a minute to recognize that just to get the state police to escort from the PA line, I have to thank Senior Investigator Rick Prunier, Major Lucas Shuda, who's a Portland grad and started here in October of 23, so that he just started in our district then. Lieutenant Aaron Forbes, Lieutenant David Cardy, Trooper Justin Burns, Trooper John Pencil, Trooper Sean Parks, Trooper Timothy Conklin. And that was just to get them to the state line here. And then after that, we had, they went down, they were greeted by our city, Portlandville and Homer Fire Departments, with our city sheriff, who typically doesn't ever do that. University PD to escort them past the New York State DOT. Thank you for that. The New York State DOT for setting them up across in the county line, all those little signs, plus Mike Sigler, who had contacted to have all the park advertising signs changed in New York State, as well as also we got to change the signs on New York Thruway and every other electronic sign in the state. So thank you for that. Jackie Lawrence from the college, the athletic director, constant communication on where the buses are and where they're located. Was appreciated. Royal Chevrolet, Joe Reagan, had balloons on the cars. and fireworks going, and of course, all the fans, they were lined down 281, which it was great. And I think we had 6 out of 8 council members there, thank you for that, that were at the, thing, and there's many other local electeds as well. We were hoping to get everybody together and do a speech, but it became kind of a little bit out of control over there. Blame the dragon for that, but it was a great time, and I certainly, we're all very proud, and I'm glad I don't have to wear that jersey today at this meeting, which he is gonna have to wear one at theirs, so.
We're gonna have that in Zoom so we can make sure.
Yeah, we need
right.
to, we need to see
Yeah,
it.
they'll be pictures, Chicago's picked that up, so they're paying attention to that up there, so. They will get that, and we'll send them some other things as well, but it was a great time, and it was fun for everybody. So let's, I think we had a shared services meeting and a sales tax meeting at the county, and that's all going well. Everything else to do, because I know we want to get next door, so we'll jump right into ward reports.
So real quick, go Cortland football. That was a great celebration. I just thought it was awesome to attend and to see everything that came together. I want to go back to a person that was just honored really quick for something he did in Ward 1. Ben Locke took some time out of his day to personally go help a business owner who did not know how to deal with some homeless material that had been left on his business site. There was no less than 7 shopping carts, 4 of them full of junk. Officer Locke took time to not only help dispose of the material into their dumpster, but when their dumpster was full, took it to a city dumpster to dispose the rest of it. And he took time to return all of the shopping carts that were identifiable. And that was all but 1. And I just thought it was great. I thought it was awesome that he came out and helped in the ward. Other than that, Ward 1's been pretty quiet and really nice. So everybody have a great holiday.
Great, Ward 2.
Other than the out of hand celebrating on Clayton Ave, and I want to thank Officer Green again for getting a handle on that. It's been relatively quiet in Ward 2, especially now that a lot of people have gone home to celebrate with their families. And I know we have an austerity budget right now, but I was wondering if we could put a banner up somewhere across Main Street declaring Cortland to be home of the champions. I think that would be really wonderful. It's been a shot in the arm for upstate for sure. I was just at a doctor's appointment yesterday, and the person who was checking me out noticed that I was from Cortland and remarked on the Cortland Red Dragons in that spectacular game. And I'm not even a football fan, but I was glued to the television set. It was really something. And I want to wish everybody in the city and beyond a very happy holiday and a wonderful new year.
Thank you for that.
Third ward.
Third ward.
So first of all, I've got to congratulate my alma mater, SUNY Cortland, Red Dragons, on a great job. And I also, Ward 3 is quiet, we're good, but I encourage people throughout the city to visit the waterworks. It is absolutely beautifully decorated. And I encourage everybody to try to get out there and see it. And I also want to commend all the citizens, the residents of the city of Portland. I don't know if a lot of people go out and look at the houses and the decorations, but it seems like more people are decorating for Christmas this year and for the holidays. And so it's really impressive to see the houses all decorated. So that's for me.
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Ward 4.
you ready?
Again, I mean, the football game, I watched the football game live as I watched football on Sundays alone on my couch, yelling at the TV. I did get to watch it. They reran it the next day. And so I got to watch it all over again. And I was much less nervous this time. I didn't yell.
They won.
Huh?
That's because you knew they won.
I know. I didn't yell at the TV at all. Ward 4 is quiet again because the college kids have all gone home to celebrate with their families. And we anticipate them coming back and be able to do a whole new celebration for the football team in February. So.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson, Ward 5.
So similar to my colleagues here, I would like to congratulate the Red Dragon football team. As someone that was a college athlete in particular, and also a college football coach, it is quite a feat just to get into the playoffs. But to go all the way and win the national championship, it's just amazing. So they did a fantastic job. Can't be more proud of the college team. That said, within the ward, I did receive, unfortunately, a notice last night from a constituent, a letter, handwritten. Not a bunch of letters or anything taped to a piece of paper, but handwritten. And, you know, they were concerned about a disturbance from a motorbike and in the ward that seems to be become habitual. And so that is a concern. I'll be following up with that. And then on the good news, it's been quiet pretty much in the ward until Santa Claus came around with the fire department. And you know, he was ringing in the season. So a lot of the kids from some of the portions in the neighborhood have been excited and thankful to see VOC Santa.
Yeah, that's a great thing, and thank you for all that. That was very well enjoyed by a lot. Sorry, some other areas don't do the same, but thank you for bringing that up. 6.
Congratulations to the Red Dragons, and I don't know if you guys noticed that they had a 1% chance of winning
Yeah.
at the playoffs. 1% chance.
I want to interject this. I didn't want to say this. I did talk to the reporter about this the other day, that it was National Underdog Day. That day.
Really?
I verified that too, right? I did. I was telling that. I said, I don't want to be the one to say that, but I just want to. But I was never doubting it, but I was
It's
told that.
unbelievable.
That was good.
Wow.
Other than that, it's very quiet in the sixth board. I do want to add a discussion item at the end of the meeting for compensation. That's it.
How quiet is that?
Hey, Mr. Michael?
That game was phenomenal. Talk about sitting on the edge of your seat. Usually you just kind of sit back and recline and watch a game, but that one there, you were constantly on the edge of your seat. I think Pat has the only TV in the state that has earmuffs on it.
Probably.
Being a neighbor of the Manellis for a number of years, when I first became a council person, Vince kind of took me under his wing. And I think part of it was because I just lived around a corner from him, and he had an ear that he could chew on anytime he wanted to. And I made a lot of points with the volunteers, assisting them through the years. And yeah, he reminded me of a time when the volunteers needed some equipment and the budgets were tough. So I ended up writing a grant for the volunteer fire department. And with the help of Senator Seward, I was able to secure that money for them. And they've never forgotten that. Chief Barron was another individual that assisted me through my career when he was fire chief. And I remember he made a comment one day, there was a fire at the corner of Central Greenwood. And I had to show up, and he said, you know, Mr. Michaels, he said, you're one of the only councilmen that show up to a fire that care about what goes on in your neighborhood. And I said, well, thank you for that comment. And I remember the fire at the clock tower building that day. I was supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock, but I ran up to the corner to see what was going on, and it was Chief Barron that took me under his wing, and he said, you ever sit in a command vehicle? And I said, no, I haven't. He said, you sit right next to me. And that was certainly an event that I'll never forget. But the volunteer firemen have been part of my life ever since I was a small individual. And having worked and known Vince all these years certainly brought back a lot of memories. I had five cousins that were volunteer firemen. So it runs deep in my family. Regarding ward concerns or issues, I'd say I one to mention. When the heavy rain came about the other day, I made a drive through the neighborhood to find how the situation was regarding standing water, and we did have a concern on East Ave that some vehicles started to become inundated regarding water. So I made made an attempt to locate the landlord of the building, and I was able to do that, and with the help of our code office here, I was able to make sure that I got a hold of the right individual. But make a long story short, if they didn't move those vehicles, they would have been flooded. And that's basically all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, approval of minutes. Everybody get a chance to review them? Make the motion. Beckwith, Scott, all those in favor? Opposed, carried. Resolutions. Agenda item number 1, adopt the 2024 City of Portland operating budget and adopt the tax rate for 2024.
Like all of the resolves read.
Just the last one.
Resolved that pursuant to Article 21, Section C 21-12 of the city charter, 4 copies of the 2024 adopted city budget shall be certified by the city clerk, with 1 such copy to be filed in the office of the mayor and 1 each in the offices of the Director of Administration and Finance, city clerk, and 1 placed at the Cortland County Library and available electronically on the city's website.
Make a motion. Beckwith, Carpenter. Any questions?
Just wanna make one quick, I spent 3 hours today with my financial advisor. And some of the things that we talked about was our city budget, and he said that after giving him the information that I knew at hand, he said that we were headed in the right direction. And he couldn't think of any other way that this should be pursued, so I felt very confident hearing that from him, as well as Lisa, our Director of Finance. That I think
I was gonna say, did we, Lisa, you gotta go to your.
I spoke with both. Lisa before I spoke with my advisor.
Okay, now you're answering those questions.
But I just had to, had that appointment, but I couldn't jump ahead of the appointment.
Recognize we have a long way to go. Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Silliman.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 2, adopt capitalization policy.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby adopt the policy titled City of Portland Capitalization Policy on December 19th, 2023.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Mr. Mello, Mr. Scott, any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Silliman.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Agenda item number 3, adopt investment policy.
Resolved that the city of Portland Common Council does hereby adopt the policy titled City of Portland Investment Policy on December 19th, 2023.
I'll move.
I'll second.
No, any questions?
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Silliman.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Aye.
Discussion items real quick, at the next meeting, I'd like to get a public.
Got one more.
Score, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, you're.
Resource officer. You're right, aren't you?
I didn't see the red asterisk on that. Authorize, agenda item number 4, authorize school resource officer memorandum of understanding with the Cortland Lawrence City School District.
I move.
Resolved that the common council does hereby authorize the city of Cortland to enter into a new memorandum of understanding with the Cortland Large City School District to maintain a part-time school resource officer position for a 2-year period. It shall commence on January 1st, 2024 and expire on December 31st, 2025.
Ms. Lane,
Second.
Mr. Echo, thank you. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Scott.
Aye.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Aye.
Councilmember Pinello.
Aye.
Councilmember Lane.
Aye.
Councilmember Thompson.
Aye.
Councilmember Carpenter.
Aye.
Councilmember Beckwith.
Aye.
Councilmember Michaels.
Hi,
Okay, review, speed limit on Miller and Union Street, from 30 to 25. The idea would be, we're gonna have a public hearing at the next meeting. Typically, we try to do that ahead of time, but the thought process is with the vehicles traveling in both directions and having to back in and not having a way to go around them, I think even the speed limit now on Main Street is too fast and we can't go below 25. So the idea would be to reduce the speed limit from Clinton/Groton to, Fort Watson / Tompkins. That area, some of the area we want to consider and discuss, maybe the other going farther south. Or even farther north, but those are all state DOT, they would take a little bit more, but rather than not do that. And during the methadone visits, I know, Mr. Carpenter's district and Mr. Scott's district as well also noticed that vehicles were, driving pretty excessive down Miller to try to use the light and go down to try to go around the other way. So the thought process is to get that
Do them all.
reduced as well.
If you didn't fix the damn potholes, we wouldn't be speeding.
That's
The roads were fine. Now we gotta make a new law because we fixed the rest.
That's right. So we'll fix it.
We'll start with that and we'll.
We can't win here, folks.
yeah, Main Street was 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, we leave it there again, right? Okay, and then, so the other discussion, item is,
I wanted to talk about compensation, future compensation for the mayor, deputy mayor and councilman. We want to direct Ms. Henty to do a study and have it presented to the council by the 1st of February. We could before February. Just to see comparables as to different jurisdictions as to what they make compared to what we make as elected officials.
I agree.
I agree.
yes.
I'm happy already, so I.
Then you do that in that timeline.
Yes.
We could allow that to be going from that account.
Can we go back to, the discussion on Main Street?
Sure.
I thought at one point in time, there was a proposal, yes, to go back and forth, 2-way street on Main Street. Thought we were looking at parking on Main Street as well. In a different way, not to have it be backup parking.
Has to, it's part of the plan.
That's part of you can't have it, they won't allow you to put, forward parking into a 2-lane road, and they don't want 1-way streets anymore.
Right.
So part of the DRI funding was to do the 2-way street.
Right.
But that has to be the back end.
The back end.
Yes,
Okay, that's what I thought.
yes,
Gotcha.
maybe I misspoke, I'm sorry.
And once the state approves a plan, you can't alter it.
No, I understand that. I just wanted to make sure I heard you right, saying that they're backing in, not backing out.
Right.
Backing-
Yes.
That's what.
I might have misspoke, I probably did.
The reason that came about was, safety.
Right, I get that. I heard
Yes.
something different. I wanted to make sure I
There's a
cleared.
Freudian slip, okay? Anybody else? Back to this other discussion, everybody, whatever, okay, so we'll review it at that time, we'll bring it up at the next agenda.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so next to be adjourned, Bagwood, Mr. Scott, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, meeting adjourned.